Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Paumiko Dog Training Q&A. So you guys know the drill on these. These are questions from people. These are dog training questions from people who are following the Paumiko Dog Guide. You can find out more about the Paumiko Dog Guide at paumikodogtraining.com. And you can also check us out on Facebook and Instagram, all under Paumiko Dog Training. So we've got two questions here. First question is Stephen. Hi Paul, my dog Max is now 5 months old. Training is going well. We walk most mornings on a lead, and since using a check chain, he has improved and seems more relaxed. Okay, so a check chain is fairly similar to what we use on a long line, and we use that sort of a setup. I think some people get it a bit confused that a check chain or the way we use a long line is there so we can, be harder on the dog, but it's actually the opposite. And the amount of times I've had people come to me with one-on-ones or questions and things, and they're using a harness or they're using a massive big collar, and they've got sick of it because the dog's always pulling hard on the harness or the lead or the collar. And we go back to using the way we use a long line or the way Stephen's using a check chain, and we use a lead properly and use all our turns and proper technique on a lead and proper training and management and everything. And all of a sudden we've got a dog that just doesn't pull on the lead at all, and the dog calms down and everything smooths out, Stephen's saying the long line training is going well and we are working on our recall and sit and stay commands. I'm not pushing him to stay no more than 4 seconds. That's all good, and it's really good to keep your stops nice and short, particularly at the start. That's a common issue with people trying to go too long with their stops, or they're having issues with their stops, and it's better to have a 4-second stop that's perfect than a longer one that's all over the show and messy. But 5 months old, it'd be good if you can start lengthening out that stop quite a bit. Just gradually add more and more time. Stephen goes on to say, my question is about recall using the come command. When he's not on the long line in our large backyard, he sometimes won't come and will even back away on occasions. If he doesn't come, what should my immediate action be? If I tell him to sit on these occasions, usually he will, so I can approach, but it's not good when I do that because then I am coming to him. What is your suggestion? It's a hard one. I've actually just answered this in another Q&A, the Big Game Indicating Dogs Q&A. Pretty much the exact same question, and I'll give the same answer here. We're often something like that, where you're saying when he's not on the long line in our backyard, he sometimes won't come and even on occasions back away. I'm guessing he's not coming because in a situation where he's out and he's free in the section and you need to put him in the kennel so you can go out or something. He doesn't want to come to you because he thinks he might go in the kennel or something like that. Or maybe it'd be good to have more detail on that actually. Or is he just not coming in general? Like it could be a positive thing. You're going to feed him or take him inside for the night or something. He's just like, no, I want to stay out here. Usually things like this, it's an overall relationship and control situation. It's not, there's no one trick that you can do in this one situation or what your exact immediate action should be in that situation. It's usually stemming from something else, like the dog's getting too much free time out there, or that can be a bad one actually, is when you get in a routine of letting the dog out and you only ever go to it to put it back in its kennel or back in its crate or back when you're about to go somewhere or something negative. You've got to watch out for those patterns, and if it starts happening, try to change your pattern or your routine. So I don't know, you go out and spend a bit of time with the dog, or you do it the other way around, where you let the dog out for a bit of a freedom time in the backyard, and then you come out and you take it for a walk, and then it goes back in its kennel or something like that. Break up that routine. It could be a pattern thing that the dog's recognizing. You want to make sure you don't get into that. Or it could just be an overall thing where that dog's getting too much freedom and maybe too much relaxed interaction with you, and it's not getting enough structured management and enough proper structured training. So to me, usually if someone's dog won't listen to a recall, or it won't come, or it won't sit, it's usually that. It's usually you're a little bit out of balance there. The dog's getting too much fun and freedom and not enough training. In the meantime, immediate action, that just telling the dog to sit and go into it is okay. That's what I'd do if that's what's working, but I would look at the overall situation. Yeah. Either a routine thing there, or a pattern thing, or too much freedom, not enough structure. And feel free to chime back in on this, or give us some feedback on how it's going, or ask another question, or if I've missed something. Julie, hi Paul, I'm unsure if this is the right spot, but I would also like information similar to Stephen above. We have an 8-month Kelpie Border Collie, really good with recall, out on our bushwalks, etc. Around home, great with sit, stop and stay, but we have birds that come in every afternoon. When they come in, the dog is completely fixated. He does not listen at all. Most of the time we try to be on a walk, but if late home, birds are in, dog is on a chain in a kennel, I would love to be able to have him off at home, supervised, but be able to rely on recall when I need to, and him not to chase and play with the birds. When he doesn't listen, I do go to him, but would like him to come when called. Hoping you may have suggestions. Yeah, so 8 months old, still pretty young. Kelpie Border Collie, 8 months old. This is back to that principle of freedom and responsibility. And basically just, 8 months old's still pretty young, and 9 months old is actually a stage, and you've got a Kelpie Border Collie there, really smart, generally pretty, those types of breeds are pretty easy to train and fairly biddable and listen and all of that, but there's a lot of intensity and drive there too, and that type of any breed can do this, but Kelpie Border Collie, a lot of intensity and drive, and they can definitely get into those sort of obsessive behaviors. And if they're a working dog breed, so if they're not working, they can try to find other things to do. And if the birds are always there, and he's put in a situation where he's eyeing them and staring at them and all that sort of stuff, he'll do that. And if you're not quite careful enough early on, and you don't nip this in the bud, it could turn into quite a long-lasting, annoying, obsessive type behavior thing, and that's why it's so important. Same as the last question, exact same thing really. It could be a route, and you've already touched on that you try to be out on the walk when that's happening. If something like that's happening, I would be like out on the walk and then straight home, and maybe if the dog just been for a walk, then it can be inside for a while or in the crate. I would try to avoid it as much as I can, so it doesn't turn into a habit or an ingrained habit or behavior. And other than that, I would actually try to work with it constructively on a long line under supervision. So I would try to avoid it as much as I can, but then I would go out of my way to set up a situation where I'm actually right there with the long line on and deal with the situation right in front of me, with me there on a long line correcting the dog if it does something wrong. That's how I deal with something like birds like this, or if I had a cat and I started noticing the pup was starting to eye up the cat and wanting to chase it, I would straight away keep the two completely separate, and then I'd go out of my way to bring them together in a super controlled environment where I'm really engaged and I'm trying to show the dog how to not stare at the cat, chase the cat, don't get obsessive about the cat. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Let us know how you're getting on with that. That's it, guys. Only the 2 questions here. Again, feel free to throw a heap more questions up. Welcome to the new people following the Paumiko Dog Guide. And yeah, we'll try to get back to these Q&As faster as usual. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you later.